Today we're going to dive into 5 tips for new cord cutters. These are kind of 5 introductory tips to cord cutting to help you get started, help you get the most out of your cord cutting experience, and help make this slightly scary process a little less scary. Cord cutting doesn't need to be scary if you do a little bit of prep, and that's what this whole series of videos is about, helping you get started to do the initial prep to become a cord cutter. Number 1, don't rush into it. The number 1 mistake people make is diving into cord cutting way too quick. They call, they cancel their TV, then they go try to rush and set everything up. Do it the other way. Set up all your cord cutting services, get your antenna, put your antenna up, get your streaming players, do all that. I even suggest, hey, take a month, test it out. You know, all these services offer free trials, so take the free trials, test it out. Make sure you found all your shows, because that prevents you from overpaying. When you rush into it, you don't have the time to shop around to make sure A, you're buying the right device, B, you're getting the best deal on those devices, those antennas, and so forth. So keep that in mind. Take your time, do your research, and it will save you a ton of money and a ton of headache. Number 2 is only subscribe to that service when you need it. One of the things that can be kind of a mental shift for cord cutting coming from cable. With cable, you subscribe to a service and you agree to a 2-year contract. With cord cutting, you don't need that. For instance, if you like Game of Thrones, you can subscribe to HBO now just when Game of Thrones are on. That could easily save you $100 or more a year by only subscribing to services when you actually use them. For instance, I'm not a big live TV fan, probably because my job's become so busy. I subscribe to all of them for work, but at home, I just use them when college football is on, for instance. So if I would subscribe to college football just for about the 6 months a year, that means I'm saving a lot of money. And I get a ton more content that way. So keep in mind, and switching between services. Maybe this month you do HBO, next month you subscribe to Showtime, and you kind of dive through their back catalogs. I find it's a great way to save some money, and it does take a little bit of a mental shift, the idea of I subscribe to something and I just have it. And I'm stuck with it. With cord cutting, that's just not true because there's no contracts. Don't get tricked into overpaying for internet. A couple of things here right off the bat. Number 1, when you call to cancel or to downgrade to internet only with your cable company, they're going to be like, oh, you want to stream stuff? Well, you really need a fast internet connection. Here, get our triple play, 1 gigabit service, whatever, for $200 a month. They'll try to sell you the fastest possible option because they make money that way. So don't let the cable company, the DSL company, whatever, be how you get recommended internet speeds. In reality, you need about 25 megabytes down. Is my recommended minimum nowadays. That will allow you to stream 4K at that speed. And for instance, one HD stream of Netflix needs 5 down. So with that, you could do 5 simultaneous streams of Netflix in HD at one time. To give you an example. 100 down faster is great, but don't get tricked into buying the fastest internet speed possible. I became a cord cutter with just 10 down. That was the fastest speed. It was later upgraded to 20 down, and I found that more than adequate to stream Netflix, Hulu, Amazon. I even enjoyed gaming on that, surfing the web, all that, and my household was no problem. I'll put a link down in the show notes to pick in the right internet speed for you, and it kind of walks you through what kind of internet speed you need for your family. How many people are in the family, what do you do on the internet, and so forth. But good rule of thumb for cord cutting and internet browsing, and even for basic gaming, 20-25 down is more than enough. The next part is shop around for internet. Now, I'm always amazed. If I told people, if you would work for me for an hour or 2 a year, I'll pay you $200-300 for those hour or 2 of work. I bet most people would do that. $200-300 for an hour's or so worth of work? Yeah, let's do that. But people don't take the time to shop around for their internet. Even if you don't want to switch internet providers, shopping around for internet is a great way to save money. Because if you know what the competitors are doing, that gives you a lot more bargaining power with your current cable internet provider or DSL provider. Saying, would you please lower my internet rate, is not nearly as effective as, hey, I hear AT&T's offering a faster speed for only $40. That's less than half of what I'm paying now. Can you beat that deal? And you'll be amazed when they hear you know what their competitors are doing in your market. They are much more likely to be competitive with your internet pricing. So keep that in mind. Knowing what everybody's doing helps you save money. So keep that all in mind. Shop around. Spend an hour or two a year, especially when that promo rate ends, to shop around. I currently pay $30 a month for 100 down. I do that because I jump back and forth. I'll spend a year or two on cable, spend a year or two on DSL, and go back and forth. Helps me get the new customer rate. So shopping around is good. I know a lot of people automatically dismiss DSL. In my neighborhood now, DSL offers a 1 gigabyte speed. That is considerably faster than what Spectrum cable internet here offers. So DSL is a lot faster than you may think it or remember it. Yeah, there are still areas, and especially in very rural areas, that are not the greatest, but I find most Americans will find DSL to be more than adequate for cord cutting. And again, that gets you the new customer rate. Shopping around, spending that hour or two a year will really help you save money. I know that especially in rural America, internet options are limited. 5G internet's coming. That will solve that issue, but we're still 2 to 3 years before we start saying wireless gigabyte speed internet is a reality for most Americans. By 2020, though, AT&T says that, and Dish and Direct and Google's working on it, and Verizon and so many others, and T-Mobile, about over 50% of Americans should have gigabyte capable speed wireless internet in their home. Lastly, this isn't your grandpa's antenna. Anybody here remember going to your grandparents' house? That's what I did. You go there, they have 3, maybe 4 stations. My grandpa used to have a big dial next to his chair in the living room, and that dial would turn the antenna up on the roof, and there was a little mark for CBS, there was a little mark for Fox on it, and he would turn that antenna to get the best possible reception for those channels. Well, antennas are back. They're awesome. And now, on average, when we talk to our readers, they're getting about 30 channels. Not only do you get the Fox, ABC, NBC, and CBS, but you're also getting the CW channel, along with a host of other channels like Ion Television, Grit TV, Comet, a great sci-fi channel. If you love sci-fi, some of the best sci-fi shows are on Comet, free over the air. Stargate SG-1, the list goes on and on. Battlestar Galactica and more can be found with free over the air TV. Those selections always changing. If you want to know what's available in your area, before you buy an antenna, I highly recommend you do this. Go to antennarecommendations.com, put your address in there, find out what's available where you live right now. The worst thing to do is go buy any old antenna and plug it in. Some people live in an area where any basic antenna will work for them. Other people live in an area where they need an outdoor antenna. For instance, I got about 30 channels with my indoor antenna in my house, but not NBC. I got ABC, CBS, Fox, no problem, a ton of sub channels, a ton of great content, PBS and so forth. But I needed to put an outdoor antenna because NBC was just on the edge of where I could get it. Put an outdoor antenna on my house. Actually, I put it in my attic, and suddenly NBC and a bunch of other channels came in 100% crisp and clear. And I did that through Dish's antenna install. $150 included the antenna. So $100 antenna plus $50 for them to install it. Great deal. They ran the wire in my home. No headaches, no problems. They did it all for me. So consider that. But if I had gone to the store and bought an antenna without checking what's available, I probably would have bought the wrong antenna. And then either maybe been lucky to return it, maybe not, probably wasted some time, wasted some money, buying the wrong antenna that didn't give me all the channels I wanted. So check out antennarecommendations.com. I'll link to that in the show notes down here to help you get started. But those are my 5 tips. If you're a new cord cutter, these 5 tips will make cord cutting a lot easier, a lot smoother when you get started. So keep that in mind. Everybody's experience is different. There's no one service right for everybody in cord cutting. But with these tips, hopefully it helps you get started on your path to becoming a cord cutter. Questions, comments, let me know. If you have more cord cutting questions, join us every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, for our weekly Q&A session on YouTube and on our Facebook page. We go live and we answer your questions. You post your questions in the comments, and we do our best to answer them as quickly as we can to give you the best cord cutting experience possible. So check that out. Find us at cordcuttersnews.com, Facebook and Twitter at cordcuttersnews.